Hey guys, it's Mrs. Adams again. So we are now on day 2 of the Code of Hammurabi CER, or DBQ. It's the same language, but if you think about it like a CER, like in science, it's the same thing. That claim, our evidence, and our reasoning. So today we're looking at those documents. We're going to look at document A and document B. Those are pages 3 and 4 in your slideshow if you're following along that way. And through this whole thing, we're looking at our essential question, that is the Code of Hammurabi, was it just? And remember the word just, it just means fair. And so we're looking at the whole thing, was it fair? Now we won't make any decisions right now. We're going to go through the documents and then we'll make our decision. So looking at document A, this is on page 3 of the slideshow. So first, we're going to look through at everything. We're going to look at our source. So the stone stele of Hammurabi's code is from the Ancient Artifacts Collection from the Louvre Museum in Paris, circa 1754 BCE. So that means that it's from about 1754 BCE. Note, the stele carved on black diorite stands more than 8 feet tall and weighs 4 tons, and a ton weighs 2,000 pounds. So this weighs 8,000 pounds. This photograph shows the top third of the stele. So looking at the top of it, this carving at the top of the stele shows Hammurabi standing before the Shamash, the god of justice, who is seated on the throne. Shamash is instructing Hammurabi in the law. So remember we talked about the kings connecting with the gods? This is him connecting with that god. Our next box we have below the two figures is the prologue. That means it comes before, in which Hammurabi lists the names of the gods, saying that they have given him the right to rule. The prologue, like the rest of the code, is written in wedge-shaped cuneiform letters that have been carved into the stone. So this is like what he uses to tell everybody, the gods have given me permission to give you all of these laws. And this is kind of like what that detail is going to look like. So it's that cuneiform writing. Below here, we have below the prologue, closer to the base, are the 282 laws organized by theme, including family life, agriculture, theft, and professional standards, among other things. There are a total of 3,500 lines of writing covering both sides of the stele, like front and back. Now here at the bottom we have following the laws in the epilogue, in which Hammurabi states how the laws should be carried out. So he tells you we need to act like this, and so this is what the stele looks like. So this is just the top third, think like 2.5 feet, and we're going to have 2 other pieces that make this 8 feet tall. So you're going to want to look at the questions, and I'm just going to read the question to you, and then you get to decide or look through the reading what the answer is. At the end of all of my videos, before we get started with the essay writing process, I'm going to give you guys, we're going to check our answers, make sure that we have everything we need. But you want to be able to think about these on your own, and if we need to correct them, no worries, we'll correct them. So number 1, it says, what kind of writing was used to inscribe the code on the stele? What language is it in? You know this. Number 2, the code is divided into what 3 parts? So there's 3 parts, and you just need to tell me what those 3 parts are called. Number 3, from where or whom does Hammurabi get the laws? So who gives him permission? Number 4, is there any evidence in this document that can be used to argue that Hammurabi's code was just? So how could Hammurabi explain that this is the right thing to do? Number 5, is there any evidence in this document that can be used to argue that Hammurabi's code was not just? You're kind of using that same evidence. Should we trust the gods? Should we not trust the gods? Is he actually talking to the gods? Who knows? We'll be able to figure that out later. So you need to answer these 5 questions. After that, you can pause the video, and then we'll go into the second document for today. That second document is going to be document B. So that's on page 4 in your slideshow. And so we're going to be looking at a couple excerpts from the epilogue of the Hammurabi's code. Remember, this is coming from 1754 BCE. That's how we know the scribes and historians have given us that information, so we know it's true. All right, so I'm going to read these 4 lines, and then we'll go over those questions. So we have Hammurabi. The protecting king am I, that is strong might not injure the weak in order to protect the widows and orphans. If you don't know, a widow is somebody who is married, but then their partner has passed away, and so now it is just them. And an orphan, that's somebody their parents have passed away, and so they have no grown-ups or adults to take care of them. I set up these, my precious words, written upon my memorial stone, for the image of me, as king of righteousness. By the command of Shamash, the great God and judge of heaven and earth, let righteousness go forth in the land. Let no destruction befall my monument. Let my name be ever repeated. Let the oppressed who has case at law come and stand before this my image as king of righteousness. Let him read the inscription, understand my precious words. In future time, through all coming generations, let the king who may be in the land observe the words of righteousness which I have written on my monument. Let him not alter the law of the land which I have given. If this ruler does not esteem my words, if he destroys the law which I have given, may the great gods of heaven and earth inflict a curse upon his family, his land, his warriors, his subjects, and his troops. That's a lot. So, looking at all of this, we're going to look at our questions. Number 1, it says, according to Hammurabi, what was the purpose for him having written these laws? So you're going to use this. Why would he have written these? What's his justification for that? So what would he tell people? This is why I did this. Number 2, who commanded Hammurabi to create this monument? So like the questions from document A, who's giving him permission? Specifically, what God? Number 3, what does Hammurabi threaten will happen to any future Babylonian king who does not follow these laws? So what does he say is going to happen? Take a look at that reading. It's right there. You can just write it right down. Number 4, how can you use this document to argue Hammurabi's code was just? So how can we say, yes, this is fair. This is what would Hammurabi say? What would he say that this is just? Who has given him permission? Remember to write that in a sentence so we know all of the details you're trying to tell us. And then number 5, how can you use this document to argue that Hammurabi's code was not just? So how could it not be fair? So think about those questions. This is kind of the end of looking at these documents for today. And so have an idea of what this is going to look like. We will come back and then we'll look at these. If you're working with a partner, think about these with a partner, but we want to make sure that we're looking at everything that we need to be looking at.